All right. Whoops, I accidentally let go of the mouse a little bit too soon. All right. July 12th, 2026. It is Journey Through the Indies. I am Matt. This is Jason. We're broadcasting out of the Space Coast and Western New York, the Buffalo area. How's everyone doing?
Hopefully they're there watching and doing great, I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, how'd your week go?
My week is still uneventful. Still not able to do much, but getting there. A
That's
lot of
awesome.
PT and getting there a little bit more each and every day.
That's awesome. And
So
I love it when the weeks are uneventful. That means nothing bad happened.
that's
And
true. That's true.
yep,
There is something good to boring, but I
absolutely.
would like a little bit more adventure.
Hey, yeah, you got to get
I
that
don't
knee
like
repaired first.
I don't like it when it's forced boredom.
Is it? Are we truly bored though? I mean, we have constant stimulation now.
Not me. I need to be out doing things, moving, being
Yep.
active. I have the toy business. I got to be out there hustling, grinding,
Yeah.
getting the stuff, selling the stuff. The real estate business, I got to be out there showing houses, selling houses, buying houses, fixing houses, flipping houses. I'm not the sit on the couch kind of person.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you mean. I feel guilty if I take a break longer than 20 minutes.
If I do get to the point where I take a break, I know I've earned it
Yep.
just because of how much I try to always make sure I'm doing.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. So, what's the housing market like up in your area now?
Shitty.
Really? Like, is it?
Not as bad as Florida. I have
Yeah,
a
it's bad here.
Yeah, no, I have a friend. He was a former ring announcer in WCW.
Yep.
He's a real estate agent down there, and I've talked to him a couple times about the market. And I mean, you've got it really bad down in Florida right now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. It's bad.
I
There's
mean, I haven't talked to him, but I don't think it would change that fast.
yeah.
But
The houses are
um,
just not selling down here.
yeah, and here there's not enough. And it was just driving it for years. It like hit a bubble. So like there would be more buyers than sellers. So in any economy, especially like a good economy, a bad economy, whatever your definition of that is, if the economy is quote unquote a bad economy, there's still people who have the same job, like you have your job.
Hmm.
It's steady, it's secure. So if we go through a bad economy, you're not really affected as much.
Not as much.
So you might still buy a house or somebody, with that kind of steady job, something like that. So there's still buyers out there, but now the sellers have nowhere else to go because the interest rates are so high and everything's so high that they could sell their house probably for more than what they've ever thought they would get for it, but then they can't find anywhere to go because the price is, a $200,000 house is probably selling for 400,000 or 500,000,
Hmm.
five
Yeah.
fifty when it shouldn't be. It's just
Yeah.
there's so few houses and so many more buyers. The sign of a good economy is when the buyers can or the sellers can sell and then buy somewhere else and just keep it moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if a
The
house is worth 250,000 and you're getting it for 250,000, it's usually a sign of a better economy.
Yeah, the house next door to us was for sale for a long time, and it finally sold, and now there's a for rent sign in front of it.
I'm not surprised at all. The
Yeah,
other thing
me neither.
if I had that kind of money, what I would do is I would buy a property in Florida right now
Hmm.
because it's selling. It's so hard to sell.
Yeah, it
You can
is.
get it.
Prices are come down a little bit.
Yeah, but it's Florida. Florida's always going to be Florida, and it's going to come back.
Hmm. Yeah, they're talking
So
about getting rid of the property tax here, or at least a large portion of it, which is pretty nice. At least for me, a homeowner. See, I'm not a rent. I'm not a landlord. I don't rent anything out. I don't have investment properties or anything. So my house, I live in it. I don't care if it goes up twice as the value, and because I plan on staying here until I either have to move or uh,
yeah,
until the
feet first.
circumstances. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah,
Or unless the circumstances dictate otherwise, and if it cuts $300 a month off of my monthly payment, hey, sure, why not? I mean, the
yeah.
government takes so much from us all the time. You know,
Believe me, I know.
yeah, it's
And
only a matter of time before they figure out where to take it.
once those interest rates go down, it'll be a lot better
Yeah,
for the housing. But like I said, I do that very little with teaching. I focused more on getting back into teaching, and since I've been doing that, I've done less real estate. So
yeah, yeah. And
with my
also,
own,
mhm. What was that?
just with my own small ventures and the
Oh,
teaching, that's pretty much
yeah,
taken up all my time.
yeah. I've got a friend down here who is an insurance agent. He also has his real estate license, and his joke is that everybody in Florida gets their real estate license before they get their driver's license. because everybody down here is a realtor.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I mean, it's Florida. It's always going to sell. It might not be great right now,
No,
but it's
no,
Florida.
it'll
I'm
pick
telling
up.
you, if there's any investors out there, listen to me. Buy the property now. Everything will go back to normal. You'll be able to
Mhm.
sell it for a profit, and then you can cut me in later.
Yeah, even when we went to the ALW show, one of the wrestlers there, Madman Fulton, handed us his business card and said, "I'm also a realtor. Give me a
Oh
call and
yeah,
we'll."
you
So
got to
yeah,
pass that around. Yeah,
yep.
that's a definite. You got to
Yeah.
let everybody in the world know you're a realtor.
Did you ever see that dude? He's a big dude too. I think he might be
Who is
about
it?
as tall as you. Madman Fulton is what he wrestles under. I
It
forget what his
does.
real name is.
It sounds very familiar.
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Oh, why is it
I can tell you what it
so
is.
familiar? Let me mind you, I've taken a lot of chairs to the head. Those chairs are not fake. Those are not fake chairs coming in my head.
Jacob Southwick.
Hmm. It does sound familiar.
Yeah,
I'll have to look it up.
he looks like
Actually, I look at
he looks like he's in his late 30s, somewhere around his late 30s. He just had his
what is he?
first kid.
Madman Fulton,
Hmm. He's got really long dreads.
American professional wrestler. Was he something else before?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, he was. He had a. I think he wrestled in something else, but I don't know what.
It wouldn't surprise me. He seems like he's been a little seasoned.
And he's a real estate agent too.
Yeah.
Did
Yep.
he just move to Florida?
I don't know, actually.
Hmm.
He's been here for at least a year.
Oh, he looks very impressive.
Yeah, he's good.
I swear I've encountered him before, and where it says his hometown is, I've wrestled a lot.
I think his
So
hometown is Miami right now.
yeah, I think I've encountered him in Ohio,
Hmm. Well,
but
he
I could
stands
be
out in
wrong.
the crowd for sure. He's
You
tall. He's got the
definitely, and
long dreads.
that's a good thing about wrestlers is you got to stand out.
Oh yeah, yeah,
No
absolutely.
doubt about that. Yeah, if you don't stand out, you ain't standing in.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So there is actually a topic that I wanted to bring up this week. So
What you got?
Royal Rumbles. Have you ever
Ooh, I love.
participated in a Rumble before?
Yes, plenty of independent versions of the big Royal Rumble.
Yeah. So how did the logistics of that work on the management side and also on the actual entertainment side?
Um, really, it's and if you ever heard any of Pat Patterson's interviews when he invented the concept, really the purpose was just to be able to continue running storylines throughout a battle royal. Because battle royals would just be a bunch of guys hitting each other until somebody gets out. Then when you get down to the last couple guys, you might be able to tell a little story. But he came up with that concept so that stories could be told throughout the entire match,
Mm.
and it wasn't just one big clusterfuck. Because the man swore like a drunken sailor. But really, it's I'm the promoter to figure out what storylines get what attention where, what guys go where. If you just take 30 guys or 40 guys or 20 guys and just be like, all right, you guys randomly go, wrestle, and then you win, what's the point of having a rumble? Might as well just have a battle royal at that point because nobody cares.
Mm.
But say, for example, I was up and coming babyface and I was going to get a shot at the heel champion. They would have some way in there of me going over a lot, throwing a lot of guys out, and then, maybe that whoever I'm wrestling next month kind of screws me out. It's all like special stories and comebacks. Like I remember when I was wrestling in Toledo, outside of Toledo, Ohio. It was very popular there, and I had a very good following. And it was towards the end of my career. It was like my last time in a wrestling ring. It was for a Royal Rumble type match like that, and they purposely put me at number 30 because they knew the crowd really liked me and really responded well. And they literally snuck me in. They didn't advertise me. They snuck me in. I literally had to sit behind that curtain the whole night in this like tiny little backstage area. I literally sat there all night until number 30. And the guys would just go by me before their match and laugh. But it worked. The music hit. A huge loud reaction, and that was the story for that part. Now, when I got out there, I knew it was, if not my last match, one of my last matches. So why am I going to go out there and do a lot? Why am I going to look super impressive? There was another heel coming in who was going to take over the top heel spot. So I offered to use the popularity that I built up there and have him throw me out. Shady to put over his heel persona. So when we got to the point, if I just went out there and did nothing and he threw me out, what's the big deal? That just means that I'm washed up. So I went out there and I worked with another bigger guy, and I kind of got a little bit of the better of him, but I made him look good still too. And then I threw out a couple of the smaller guys, and then when that heel was J-Rock out of Cleveland, when he threw me out over the top, he got a huge heel reaction, a lot of heat. for throwing me out. But by making myself still look strong before he threw me out, it made it more important for him to have taken over that spot. Do you kind of understand what I'm
Yeah. So would you say
saying?
you were both heels? You were the top heel. He was up and
I
coming.
was the I was the top face.
The top face. Oh, okay.
Yes. And he was going to be taking the new top heel spot from someone else. He was
Ah,
getting pushed to go into that top heel spot. And that one wasn't decided on by the promoter. That one was decided on by me and J Rock. I remember they were talking about his next matches for the title next month, blah, blah. He's got to look good. I'm not sure if he won. He should have if he was wrestling for the title. But either way, in the locker room, we overheard that he was getting that heel push, the top heel. So I said to him, I said, well, if you're getting this heel push, I'm probably done after this. Why don't we use the popularity that I have to push more heat on you for next month? You get your shot and big reaction. And that's a small example. I mean, you got guys who've made millions of dollars doing that in front of tens of thousands of people. But it's the same concept, whether you're in front of 1,000, 2,000, or 20,000. That concept of putting over the other guy, and we were cognizant of the fact that he was going to be the top heel. I was a huge baby face. So what better way to make him an even better heel than to foil their popular hero?
did it work?
It worked well. Yes, at that time. But that's kind of the point of a Royal Rumble, is to tell stories like that. The promoter didn't come up with that one. J-Rock and I did. But we had two veteran professionals standing there overhearing what was going on, and we knew what to do. I knew the second I heard he was getting a push and he was the new big heel in town. I knew I was a very popular baby face and on my way out, whether that was my last one or one of my last ones. I knew I had to transfer that onto him.
So one thing I've always wondered when watching these matches is just how much of them is actually pre-planned in advance. Like, is it like off the cuff when the performers decide who's going out and when and by whom, or is
No.
that all that it's all pre-written?
It's pre-written for the most part. It depends. You have the wrestling that I learned and I watched growing up, and you have the wrestling nowadays. So which one do you want to know about?
Well,
Nowadays or the
I guess my question is really more about ad-libbing and improv and when it's more or less acceptable, and is it more or less acceptable in
I
previous years than it is now?
yes. In previous years, you called it out in the ring. You might never see your opponent until you're in the ring. But I know, like I told you that story in the Rumble with J-Rock, where I knew I was a very popular baby face. I knew he was coming in as the top heel. If I only met him in the ring that night, we both know what we need to do. I know that I'm on my way out and I have a lot of popularity and I need to get that on him somehow. But at the same time, if I just went out there and he just had his way with me, who did he really beat? Nobody. So I still had to look strong so that when he did foil me, he got a bigger reaction and more clout for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So
But yeah,
it,
no, back in the day, if you were a babyface and I was a heel, and you walked into my locker room, I'd have to throw you out in front of the crowd
mhm.
and kick you. That's how serious kayfabe was, and it was like that
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
started. The territories were still there was still a twinge of territories left when I started. Mainly just a lot of promoters bitter about their territories
Mhm.
no longer being popular, but it was still towards the end of the territory era, and kayfabe was real strong, especially down south.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, we would plan it. We'd call it in the ring. Somebody was a ring general. It was generally the heel. The heel would call the match. If it was a matter, when you get to a point where somebody might be a heel but be newer, and I've been in it 20 years, I'm going to call the match for the heel. But generally, it was the heel was the ring general, or whoever could do it. And then things started to get a lot more pre-planned. So imagine now everything being scripted versus 20 and more years ago, zero was scripted. And imagine that transition from one to another. The most I've ever done was agree with another wrestler to kind of make an outline. Like if you were wrestling or if you were writing an essay, you have your outline.
Yeah.
I'd give you that. But I'm not going to sit there and plan every hold, every spin, because I hear the crowd and I know when to come back.
Right.
I know when to come back. I know when to hold the heel down, when to hold the baby face down. I could hear and feel the crowd. I know how to do it because that's how I started. If you just pre-plan it and you just run through it, you're missing those possible better reactions.
Right. Right. So it's
Um,
kind of like a mix of like a general outline of what you guys are going to do, and then you kind of work, you mold it around based on the feel of the crowd.
exactly. The
Yep.
feel of the crowd would overtake anything that was planned.
Mm.
I've been in situations where we were going home, we're ready to finish, and the crowd, you could just tell they wanted one more. So I just told the guy, I'm like, do one more, do it again, boop, boop, bop, and we got a bigger pop at the end
Mm.
because I could just feel when they're at their greatest pop or not. You could just, that's why I want you to get that other guy on too, one of these days, because he'll be able to understand what I'm saying, and give you
Yeah.
his aspect of it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Once we start getting a respectable number of subscribers, we'll
Exactly.
probably start. Yeah.
I've reached out to a couple of friends of mine. Uh, one's in AEW, and one is no longer in AEW. And when it's a little soon
We could probably get the
for that.
person who's no longer in AEW, right?
He's a little busy doing some Hollywood stuff, but
Oh, right.
yeah, but
Yeah, they're all making movies now too. You ever notice that?
yeah, it's not easy to get a lot of these people right now. But I
Yeah.
have spoken to them. They're not jerks about it. Not, oh, you only have 10 people. I'm not coming on. It's not like that at all. The one of them who's actually, I don't want to give it out anytime soon, but he's actually very, very popular in AEW right now.
Mhm.
And he was very, very gracious. He's literally just doesn't have the time. But if we had 1 million followers, it would benefit him to break that time.
He'd make the time for
Yeah,
it.
he was so apologetic to me, talking to
I
me, and I'm like, dude, I'm telling
I
you,
totally get it. I totally get it.
I'm telling you as your friend, don't do it now.
Yeah.
Just
Don't do
wait.
it now.
Wait till it benefits you better, or you have time. If you have time, call me out of nowhere.
Oh, you know what?
And
We should remind our listeners to like and subscribe. We don't do that enough. Guys, like and subscribe. We're trying to build a new channel here.
that's always been my problem with anything social media I try. I always forget to like,
Ah,
subscribe.
dude, it's people our age are terrible about it. We just don't talk about ourselves. We don't have a huge social media presence. I've actually been yelled at this before by people much younger than me who are more successful in running these types of campaigns. And
Same.
it was when we were doing a video game, and he got on my case like, you never talk about yourself, you never tell anybody what you're doing, you never post screenshots, you never. And I'm like, well, I'm too busy working. If I'm spending all my time doing social media, then I'm not getting my work done. And
No.
and also I don't think about it because we're very 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 young we're Xennials. We're between 1975 and 1985. We're that micro generation that just didn't like to be recorded, and we
Oh, I
liked our
hated it.
yeah, we liked our secrecy.
Yep.
We're really glad that our entire past is not on Instagram or TikTok.
Well, could you imagine if it was?
Oh man, dude. I have friends that are no longer among the living because of some of the stupid things that we did.
That we had done. Yep. I
Yeah,
hear you.
not like to each other, but to give you an example, one guy I knew liked to drink a lot. It was a lot, even by Buffalo standards. I mean, the guy would go through, yeah, he would go through like 2 cases in a day, like crazy amounts. He was in his early 20s too. Well, one day in the middle of March, I think it was early March actually, when everything was still freezing cold because Buffalo stays cold. For those of you who don't know, Buffalo, New York is a very cold city. It's ice and snow 6 months out of the year, most of the time. So one March, when it was still frozen, he took his canoe out at 2 in the morning and he was drunk and it capsized and he never came back up. So
He didn't even feel it. He was so drunk he didn't feel the
yeah,
hypothermia. Yeah.
probably not. But it was
Yeah.
terrible. It was an awful phone call to get. But we all did a lot
Yeah.
of stupid stuff younger. With that we had no supervision. Nobody knew where we were. Nobody like like
Yeah.
we didn't have
Really?
cell phones. There was no GPS. So
Wow.
all these like just the massive presence on social media, like what you can learn about somebody on social media if they're younger than us, like they're 30 or
Oh,
younger, is just incredible. Their entire lives are documented.
there's very little that comes out about me that's that personal. Very few people
Yeah.
know that kind of stuff. Every now and then, if a question was asked and if my response or my story helped somebody else, I would tell it. But for the most part, I keep stuff like that very close.
Yeah. And it's like we just don't like talking about it. But that brings us to the flock cameras. What have you heard about these?
I've heard from one of my friends on Facebook was yapping about them, and I
Yeah.
wasn't sure what they were talking about.
So they have this network of cameras that this private company, I don't remember the name of the private company. Maybe it is Flock. I don't know, but they're called Flock cameras. And they put these cameras up around cities. and they're contracted out by governments. They're contracted out by mostly governments and
There's a
police
lot of them
forces.
around here, apparently.
Probably they're going up all over the place, and what they do is they form like this surveillance network, and they have an AI running over it, and it
Oh
scans
boy.
yeah, and it scans your license plates, your tags to make sure you're not expired. It could detect speeding. It could recognize your face from within the car, who's in the car, and because AI is really good about patterns, recognizing patterns, like it could essentially build up a profile on your life, like where do you go, how often, who do you go with. It learns all these things.
It's
Like
not going
it,
to get any good information off me right now. I'm pretty boring.
yeah, we all are, but
For times that could have been, yeah, bad.
but as an example, it's like I used to work in the town where I live. I no longer do that. I work in Orlando now, but in Melbourne, there's this little sushi restaurant that I like to go to, and I used to go to it on Fridays. And then I noticed that on Friday, one Friday, I wasn't going to go there, and I plugged my cell phone into the car, and the Apple came up, and it told me, "This is how long it's going to take you to go to the restaurant that you go to on Fridays."
It does that to me now. It does it to me
Yeah.
now. Literally,
Yep. Yep.
every Sunday I would go and visit a friend at his. He's like another toy vendor, and he's at a flea market.
Hmm.
And I would go on Sundays during the nice weather and just sit with him and help him sell stuff, hang out for a little bit.
Yep.
I got in the car this morning and I plugged my phone in, and it just brought up directions
Yep. Yep.
to
It
that place.
it learns your
And I was
patterns. Learns your patterns. Like my Apple Watch
oh
will
yeah,
will
that too. I'm thinking
will.
about not using that. But did you ever? I know, like I was talking with some friends, and we were talking about going to a Cleveland Indians game. And a half hour later, as I'm scrolling through Facebook, an advertisement comes up to buy Cleveland Indians tickets at the
Yeah.
time. There's something else now, but that obviously they were listening.
Hmm.
And now I'm going to sound like I'm wearing a tinfoil cowboy hat, but I'm not.
No, you're not.
I one time thought something, actually, a couple times, more than once. I thought something but didn't say it out loud and scrolled past an advertisement for it.
Yep.
And
Um,
I'm dead serious, honest to God. I thought it, did not say it out loud, but scrolled past it.
I I
Was
swear
it because
stuff
I was
like that
holding
happened
my
to me too.
phone? Like what caused the phone to know what I was
Who
thinking about?
knows? Who knows? I mean, the way they're able to track you these days, and they do it not because they want to arrest you. They do it because they want to
For
sell you
marketing.
something.
They want to market to you. Yeah.
Yeah, they want to sell you shit. So sometimes when my wife and I are talking and we're talking about a product that we need to buy, she'll say out loud something like, "Gee, I sure hope I see a coupon for 20% off in my Facebook feed for this product soon."
Uh, does it work? I'm going to try that.
Sometimes.
Well,
Sometimes it actually does. Like you're talking about buying a product and then you see it in your Facebook feed. It's crazy. Um,
25% off coupon on Blue Buffalo sensitive stomach cat food.
yeah, right.
Come
And
on, coupon.
now there's a very interesting character that I like to follow on YouTube who talks about stuff like this. His name is Andrew Bustamante, and he's a former CIA agent, and he
Oh,
has all of these stories about how the government can track you and what they can and what they can't do, what they're able to do, what they've been
right.
able to do for a
Wonderful.
long time. Well, turns out that if they really wanted to, they could turn your television, and they used to be able to do this back in the 90s with TVs that weren't smart. They could, because essentially a speaker and a microphone is the same thing. You just reroute the electricity. They could take your TV speaker when it's off, and it'll still get enough power. Turn it into a microphone and monitor you through your TV.
Wow.
And they've been able to do that for a very long time.
Here.
And yeah, so he's a
Scammers use
fun guy to
software
follow.
too.
Huh?
Scammers can hack into everything. I have a friend I was training to Russ as a young guy, hysterical, a young guy at the time, and he was telling us this story about how on his computer, his parents weren't home and he was by himself, so he brought something up on the computer, and when he'd talk about it, he'd kind of laugh and he'd look at us and go, you know, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, I know, and he goes, so then all of a sudden my screen took a screenshot and they got a picture of me doing, you know, you know. And then he's like, then they sent me an email saying that for $350, they'll erase the photo. And they had a picture of me doing, you know, you know. I remember just laughing the whole time. I'm like, they caught you cranking one out and they're trying to scam money out of you
Yeah,
through your laptop camera.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah. They
but
they
those
can
times,
they
like,
can do that. is if in some instances, like I one time received an email, a very similar email, but there were no pictures because there was no evidence, obviously. But I
So
just they
you've
and
encountered that one before.
huh? What?
You've encountered that one.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's a scam. Sometimes it's for real. Sometimes they just say that they have the evidence, and sometimes they
Uh,
actually do.
oh no, they
It,
showed him that they had the
yeah,
evidence
yeah, yeah.
because he's trying to describe looking at this picture of himself, you know,
Well,
him
see,
telling the story was worth
well,
more than whatever happened.
Well, if the like you see how your camera is right now and how my camera is right now, it would just kind of like show like our facial expressions if something like that was going on with either one of us with this current hardware setup. So like if it was so bad that he had to, did he pay the money?
I don't recall how that story ended, but just hearing him tell the story, and then I turned on, and then they took a picture of me doing,
Right, because if they just have a screenshot of you from like the chest up, what's the big
Oh
deal? I mean,
no, the way he made it sound, they had some very incriminating evidence
oh
on
yeah.
me. In which case, I would have just replied back to the scammers, be like, "So what? You caught me taking the number three? Sell it all you want. I don't care. I'm not giving you shit."
I would reply and say something like, "Yeah, that looks like AI."
Be like, so what?
You just have to do
Make sure you show it at the right angle.
right. They put it on a website or on something like that, and your explanation is
We
no way.
miniaturize it.
That's AI. It's way too big. There's no way it's that
Way
big.
too
That's how
big.
you
There's
know
no
for
way
sure.
that's real. That's more than 2 inches.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, no, the computers can do a lot of things. That was the funniest thing I've
Jesus
ever heard of
crazy.
it doing. I don't know if that's really a funny thing, but it was funny the way he told the story.
It's a funny story. I'd
It
say it
is.
is.
And then they
Yeah, I
caught me,
think it is. I think
you
it is
know.
too.
Then they showed me the picture of me, you know.
Oh, speaking of it, kind of in the same vein. You know how a lot of people have those Ring cameras?
Yes.
Well, same thing with those. Like they're a lot of people have the Ring cameras for the front door, or even I have two inside my living room, and they could do the same thing with that. They could hook those up to AI. They could recognize patterns. They could recognize who's there. They could. Now, of course, they're going to say things like it's going to be useful because they'll be able to find fugitives and they'll be able to like intervene on domestic violence. Because if you have an AI watching all these video streams, theoretically, it can detect when bad things are happening, but the cost is astronomical. It's absolutely astronomical to analyze every single feed in real time, and that's part of the
Yeah.
reason why these data centers are going up. A lot of them for the flock camera networks, and
There's one here in this town. I moved out to the country. I live in a
yeah,
really small town. There's a data center going in here. It's all sorts of controversial.
mm-hmm,
Apparently, when it used to be like a marine research data place, and it was a
mm-hmm,
plant before that, and that business would pay most of the taxes for the town, so that the taxes were cheaper.
mm-hmm.
Now I pay way too much to live out in the country in taxes, and this
Yeah.
place doesn't have to pay anything because there's some loophole for these data centers, whatever they are.
Oh, it's ridiculous. They're like they get away with paying absolutely nothing with whatever research grants or I don't even know how it works. I haven't looked into it. But so many of these places are just not paying what they should be, and the cost is just somehow being spread out over the people who live around it. Like the cost of electricity is going up.
Yeah,
That's one thing that really really sucks. Like electricity has been going up so much for years. I mean, we're all using less of it because if you think about it, our TVs are all flat screen. You remember those old CRTs?
yeah,
Those used to burn a ton of power, and
sure.
everybody used to have like 60 watt and 100 watt light bulbs, and
Yeah, now they're
it
probably
right. So we all switched to like LEDs. We all switched to flat screens. They all burn hardly ever any. They all burn hardly any electricity. Why is my bill 3 times more? You know?
it's that foil helmet again.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure my AC runs that up too, but still,
Oh,
you
in
know.
Florida, yeah, you're gonna get whacked with that cost.
Oh,
But
it's bad. It's close to $400 a month. My wife
it
keeps it.
still shouldn't. It still shouldn't be that bad
She keeps it chilly in
overall.
here. She keeps it so chilly in here, dude. They recommend you keep your house at 78 degrees, and she keeps it at 73. And I shiver if
Oh
it
yeah, no,
goes. And I shiver if it goes below 70 because I'm so used to this heat.
I can imagine. Yeah, well, you get acclimated.
Yeah, you
I
do.
probably would too. Yeah,
It'll take you a couple years when you finally get your ass down here.
really. I sweat a lot. So I mean, I've been down there for periods of time. I've been down there in the summer, and I enjoyed it. It was,
Yeah.
but I still went out, did things. I
Oh
wasn't
yeah.
like you hear about people hiding during the summer months down there.
Hmm.
I didn't hide. Yeah, it was hot, of course, but I mean, I did summer things. I went to the beach. I went to a pool. I
Yeah.
wasn't hiking in the mountains on 2 hours every day in August and
We don't have
July
mountains here.
or whatever. I'm not hiking
Yeah.
anywhere.
It's very
You know,
flat. It's very flat. I mean, you could go in the swamp, I suppose, but why would you want to? It's disgusting.
don't don't you live in there's two well-known um mapped places in Florida. There's the
Mhm.
Everglades, which I believe you live near or in
A couple
or
hours
used
north of
to,
them.
and the villages, which you probably don't live anywhere near.
No, the villages is the only thing that's actually grosser than a bog.
Wow. I heard, I heard it was pretty rough, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so I got some stories about that.
Body, remember the body condoms from the Naked Gun?
No, I
I
didn't
want to
watch Naked
slip one
Gun.
of those on and just take a four-wheeler through the place just to see.
It's so gross.
What-
No, the Everglades are a couple hours south. It's
Why
I
did
live
I think you lived in the Everglades?
because Florida is all one big swamp anyway. It's crazy. No, I live in Brevard County, and it's swamp. We have swamp here, and the mosquitoes
We had a
are
conversation years ago when you first moved there.
yeah.
We had a quick conversation. You were telling me about the swamps. I thought you
It's
lived in the Everglades with
yeah, yeah.
crocodiles.
No, we
I
got
don't.
those. We've got those. We've got alligators and American crocodiles here too. It's just that the Everglades gets everything like a year or two before us. You know how like all these invasive species come in,
Yeah,
like with
they come
the
through the Everglades.
yeah, the pythons and the lizards that come in from Africa. They all start at the Everglades and they all filter up because it's not that much different climate wise.
No.
And so they're all coming up here now. And but anyways,
What's
that's not the mosquitoes are the worst thing.
Oh, I'd imagine. Yeah, I try to
Horrible,
avoid those.
horrible.
But when I started spending time in Florida when my sister moved down there in 2013, 2012, 2013,
Mhm.
I'd come down regularly. And then I had an apartment in Jacksonville, and I would split time between Buffalo and Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Uh, and I would come home, and I took the kids to the Buffalo Zoo, and there was no thrill because the thing that's behind a cage chased me through a park in downtown. It's just
Yeah.
if you spend any time in Florida at all, and then you go to a zoo up north, you're like, other than that lion, there's really nothing else intriguing to me in this place that
Yeah.
I haven't seen in front of me in a park
Yeah.
down
There's a lot
there.
of scary
What
things here.
animal you've seen that
Hmm?
you've encountered down there? You've been down
Uh,
there for a while.
yeah, I've been here for about 12 years now. Alligators, a lot of alligators. I still have not seen a venomous snake. Oh, pretty close to alligators. I've been very, very close. Within a
By
few feet.
accident or on purpose?
On purpose. On purpose.
Oh, like you weren't
Yeah,
like taking your garbage out, and it was like, "Hey, how you doing?"
no, not nothing. I've never had any encounter like that. Like
Yeah,
everything.
I'd be back in Buffalo the next day.
No, everything has been like I've seen it from a distance, and I approached it to get a better look. But
Oh,
I don't like go tromping through the swamp or the woods or nothing like that.
let's
So,
find something.
huh?
You never seen a venomous snake though.
Still haven't seen a venomous snake. I've seen a lot of non-venomous snakes. Like I've seen a lot of rat snakes, corn snake. I've seen ringneck snakes. I've never seen a rattle. Like allegedly they're here. They're supposed to be all over the place. I belong to a Facebook group that where people take pictures of them and post them, and they're all the time. Melbourne, Volusia County. Like I've never seen one. I've never seen a rattlesnake. We got them. I've been
We have
dying
a
to see
snake
one.
here that looks exactly like a corn snake.
Yeah.
And because I found one in the basement, scared Marla. She was trying to put laundry in. So I ran down there and I Google imaged it right away.
Mhm.
And it brought up a corn snake and it looked just like it, but it wasn't. I think it's called a milk snake up here. It's harmless.
Yeah.
But it looks like a constrictor, exactly like one.
They are
It
the
acts,
constrictors.
well, yeah, but I mean, this thing, when it got scared, the poor thing was just scared more than anything. But when it got scared, it made the sound like a rattle.
Yeah.
Even though it didn't have a rattle, it wasn't a rattlesnake, but it made that sound in defense. And
Yeah.
then eventually I got some tongs and some Tupperware and was able to safely remove him from the back of the washing machine. He was wrapped around that rubber hose that comes out. He was
Oh yeah,
wrapped
yeah.
around him. He was scared, but the whole time I'm taking this thing out, Google Images told me it was a corn snake that are only in Florida. So
Which
I'm like,
is
how did it get in?
it's
Yeah,
not
like
outside the realm of impossibilities. People do
no,
have
there's
those.
a lot of people around here. I know several reptile junkies, and I don't go in their house. But
Yeah,
they
but you know
have.
what? Like people have them as pets though, so they can
Oh yeah,
escape and they can get somewhere
that's
else.
what I assumed it
Yeah,
was. So a little further research actually told me we have just something that looks just like that,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's
What
not that.
my
Totally
my
different.
uh my wife likes snakes. She's one of those weird girls that like spiders and snakes and all that, and she's not scared of them at all. And we were at the beach one time, and she saw a corn snake in the brush, and she just reached down and grabbed it and picked it right up. And there was like a surfer dude 30 feet away who was with his girlfriend. And you should have seen this dude. This dude looked like he could have been like a wrestler himself. He was definitely a lifter. The guy was hiding behind his girlfriend when my wife was
Okay.
holding.
You're fine, surfer guy. You hide behind your
The
girlfriend when
dude
it
was
comes.
hiding behind his girlfriend when my wife was holding the snake.
No judgment for him right now. Zero.
The girlfriend was like his girlfriend was laughing at him like he's so scared of snake, and my wife's
Oh
holding it
yeah,
up.
no. I mean,
And
granted, I probably wouldn't have thrown my girlfriend in front of me, but I would not have stayed close by
That's
any
it.
means.
They're harmless, and we wound up keeping that thing for like 9 years. We had it in
Really?
a yeah we
9 years.
we yeah we kept it in a nice sized glass tank, and we fed it mice every week, and it lived a happy snake life, I guess.
I couldn't do it. Did you know? I don't know if you remember, but it's a funny story about wrestling, and it goes to show what a true performer this guy was. Jake the Snake Roberts did a program with Andre the Giant.
Mhm.
Andre acted deathly afraid and phobic of the snake. And it was so believable that I could watch it now and still believe that Andre had a phobia for snakes. He did not.
No,
He
no.
was just, people don't give Andre the Giant that kind of credit because he was just a huge guy, an attraction. And he didn't have to do much to draw money, he'd just be there. But when he had that little heel run towards the end of his career, just that acting ability and that ability to work an angle and a story, it was just like second to none.
Oh, he was in
For
Princess
some,
Bride, dude.
it was crazy. Oh, he was amazing. I watched him at a local event. He was the heel and he wrestled Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And he rolled up Jim Duggan and put his feet on the ropes and pinned him. Like,
Now,
Andre the Giant doesn't have to put his feet on the ropes to pin, but he did it, and it was funny.
didn't Jim Duggan live in Buffalo for a while?
He lived. He's from not far from Buffalo. He was just here last weekend doing an autograph signing. But he grew up just a few hours away.
Hmm. Yeah,
I don't think
okay.
he
Yeah.
lived here for a while. A lot of wrestlers did. This was like the point in between the main territory back in the 60s and the 70s. So a lot of those legendary wrestlers lived in this area. Um, there were rumors that Jake the Snake lived in East Aurora
Really?
back when we were kids.
Hmm.
But I don't know if there's any truth to that. But there are people who say that he would walk his snake at night down the neighborhoods of East Aurora.
Well, East Aurora is a beautiful, beautiful little town.
But we travel so much. Here's a perfect story for this type of situation. I was a kid, maybe 9 or 10 years old. I was a huge wrestling fan. I know every wrestler. I know everything about them. I was at the outlet malls in Niagara Falls one day. Wrestling was not in town. This is just an average day. And I'm standing outside, and my grandfather's with me, and I'm standing next to this guy outside, and I swear it's Pat Tanaka from the
Oh
Orient
yeah.
Express. I swear, and I'm staring at him, and he's like kind of like looking at me like, oh shit, the kid knows who I am. And I didn't say a word to him because I'm like, wrestling's not in town. Why would this man from the Orient be at the Niagara Falls Factory Outlet Mall?
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, I know for a fact it was him. But in my 9 or 8 year old brain or whatever I was like, nah,
Yeah.
I can't do anything, whatever. So years later, I'm wrestling and I'm at a Quaker Steak and Lube restaurant with Marty Jannetty. And we're eating dinner, and this is over by the airport. So we were talking about Buffalo. And he knew my ex-wife, the kid's mother. She texted me saying that somebody she worked with used to be in a relationship with him.
Mhm.
And he used to spend all that time here in Buffalo.
Marty Jannetty.
Yeah. So I'm with Marty Jannetty at the time. So I read the text. I go, hey, do you know this person? He goes, oh, yeah, I know her. She was great. It was a bad time for me. She was so good. She probably was the right one, but it was a horrible time for me. He was doing a lot of
Mm.
stuff. He's like, she's a great girl. Please tell her I said hi. And I'm sorry for being a jerk back in the day. And then I told him, I was like, where was she? He goes, oh, in Niagara Falls. Anytime we were off, we would spend our time off in Niagara Falls with her and her roommate. And I go, who was with you? He said, Pat Tanaka. I swear to God, he looks, he goes, me and Pat Tanaka would come in
That
because
makes
Pat
sense.
Tanaka was seeing the roommate.
Now it
So
makes
like
sense.
20 years later, I got the answer to my question from the outlet mall
Yep.
outside. But it was Marty Jannetty. He's like, oh yeah, I know that girl. She lived in Niagara Falls. And on our off days, we'd come to Niagara Falls because, and he said, Pat was dating her roommate.
That's
And I'm
really
like, wait,
awesome.
in Niagara Falls? And I told him what happened. And he goes, no, I'm pretty sure that was Pat Tanaka. I'm like, I was too, but I wasn't sure because wrestling was in town. He goes, no, that's where we'd spend our off time. He goes, so that was Pat Tanaka.
That's awesome. That's
It's like,
awesome.
I
Yeah.
knew. Thank you for setting that straight, Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
Who people can say what they want about Marty Jannetty. A lot of people talk shit. He's a lovely man.
Oh
He's a
yeah.
great guy.
I've heard that
I, I,
actually.
I know he parties a lot, and he'll be the first one to tell you he hasn't made the best decisions in life. But when it comes to his heart, he is an extremely, extremely good-hearted man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great guy. I love him. I haven't talked to him in a while. I should send him a message.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, great guy. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, maybe he'll do the show.
If you're an asshole, I tell you.
Yeah, being from the Queen City, I would always second guess if we saw like what I thought was a celebrity. It's like, why
Tell
would
me.
this person be in Buffalo?
Why would Pat Tanaka be at the outlet?
Yeah.
Well,
But
it turns out him and Marty Jannetty were dating those two roommates in Niagara Falls.
yeah, Buffalo gets a bad rap, but it actually is a really good city.
Dude, I've heard so much stuff. Did you know that Burt Reynolds is, right?
Yeah.
And he was married to Lonnie Anderson, the old actress.
Yeah.
She lived nearby. She had a
Yeah.
house. Yeah, she had a house somewhere in the southern tier that was known for legendary parties. So like private planes would fly into the Buffalo airport all the time, and people would get in these cars, all the top A-list celebrities,
Oh yeah.
and drive somewhere in the South towns, like maybe near the ski resorts. I don't remember the exact place, but that's where she lived.
Yeah, like Kissing Bridge or Ski Tamarack or that area.
Somewhere around there, I think, is the way the story
Yeah.
goes.
Holiday Valley.
Yeah, something like somewhere in that general vicinity. But all these huge A-listers would come in
Yep.
to the Buffalo airport and then go to her house party. Rick James lived in Orchard Park.
Yeah, I actually knew that. I knew Rick James was from Buffalo. Yeah, my father knew him from back in the 70s.
Yes, and your father was in a band with my father,
Yep.
who was in a band with Rick James' neighbor. We went to, it was a kid's birthday party in Orchard Park. It was the guitarist before your dad. Your dad replaced this guy as the guitarist, who I liked your dad better.
Yeah.
But this guy his parents lived next door to Rick James. So we're going to this like children's birthday party, and there's like this house next door with security guards and a big fence. And it was where Rick James lived, and Eddie Murphy would come in all the time and be at that house. Everybody.
Yeah, see, so for those of you who don't know, Buffalo is like the little sister city to New York City in New York State, and
It's like a micro city.
yeah, it's much bigger than cities outside of New York, but inside of New York, it's a small city, and
Oh, yeah.
it's what a lot of people don't realize this, but the real estate, at least it used to be, significantly cheaper than other cities
Oh, yeah.
in America. So
Used to be.
like the mentality that we had growing up there in the 80s and 90s was that Buffalo was a cheap city. Nobody rich would really want to live there, so whenever we heard about these celebrities and things like this happening, it was really hard to believe,
Oh yeah.
but they happened. They did happen.
A lot of them grew up in Toronto. So if you watch interviews with Jim Carrey, he might not be coming here now, but he'll tell you all the stories about watching our channels growing up,
Oh yeah.
coming over to go to Fantasy Island and watch the Cowboy show, just like we did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fantasy
You know.
Island, that was great. We used to go there.
Oh yeah, Fantasy Island's the best.
Yeah, I don't think it's open anymore. I think it closed down in like the late 90s, but
Somebody bought it, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not sure if it opened back up. But yes, it was supposed to open back up. Then there was some vandalism or something. I'm really not sure where it sits now.
Yep.
I probably should know, but I don't.
Yeah.
But it might be open in a smaller capacity. Than
So what a lot of people might not realize is that the city of Buffalo sits right next to the city of Fort Erie in Canada, and it's just a little river that separate. Actually, it's a really big river. It's a really big river compared to other rivers in the United States.
compared to what rivers you see, but it wasn't
Oh,
much.
yeah.
My bedroom window as a kid on the second floor, I grew up right at that river on the
Yeah.
west side of Buffalo, and Fort Erie was right outside my window.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that river was right there.
and 40, and so as a result, we would get Canadian stations, they would get American stations that went for both TV and radio. And I used to prefer the Canadian station because they had slightly different laws, and they were allowed to say slightly naughtier words during the day.
Yeah. No, it was great living that close. Remember, we'd be able to go drinking at 19 legally?
19, yes, the drinking age in Canada was 19.
So
And
therefore, the drinking age in Buffalo was 19. We just had to go over the border to do it.
yeah, well, before 9/11.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
were from Buffalo and you were 19, it was okay to drink. You just had
Yeah.
to go over there.
Yeah, so
Which we did.
so a whole generation of kids has grown up since then. But when 9/11 happened, so 9/11 changed a lot of things. And if when we were living in Buffalo, for people in Canada to come to Buffalo or vice versa, it was no big deal at all. You would just drive up to the border. They wouldn't even check your ID. They would just say citizenship, and you would just say U.S. Canada. They'd say go ahead, and that was
Yeah.
it. They knew
What
you
are
were
coming
going.
in for?
They knew you were going to spend money, so
Yeah,
they weren't going to say
Never-
nothing. Like they didn't check ID, nothing. And after
Nope.
9/11, all that changed. Like you need
Everything
passports now. Passports, they
Oh,
freaking interrogate you at the border, going there and
that
coming back.
Yeah, all that technological equipment there.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
yeah, they take your picture coming back. Like they try to get you to slip up too. Like I don't know how recent. Like I haven't been over to Canada
I was
since like
just over there 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Or no, not 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks before the surgery.
So
I was-
the last time I was there was 15 years ago, like 2010, 11, and they would take your picture coming back over the border automatically, and they would grill you when you were coming back. Like it was always harder coming back than going there. Is it still like that?
Yes, it's very grilly, especially for me.
Well, I mean, you
My-
look like you might be bringing a whole bunch of stuff from their farms,
My kid's mother is Canadian. That's where I met her on tour.
right?
So when we were going through the whole immigration process for her, they didn't like how much time I was spending there.
Right.
So I always get a little extra grilling. Apparently, they still think, even though we've been divorced for 17 years now, they still think I'm trying to live there. even though I'm
Oh
not.
yeah. So Canada's real weird about people coming in and taking their jobs. Like
Oh yeah, I don't.
like it
I just
like
I wanted to go to Toys R Us and the casino and IKEA.
yeah. Like if it's such a stark contrast to the United States, because in the United States we're like, bring your workers over here. We got work that nobody wants to do. Canada's not like that at all. Like they do not want any jobs that can go to a Canadian going to any non-Canadian, and they are serious about it.
That's fine with me. I just wanted to go to IKEA
Oh,
for
yeah.
Christ's sake.
Oh right, but
Let's
there's
go to
yeah.
Don't
I'm just
forget
saying
one
they're
thing.
serious about it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, we're getting an IKEA here, so now I really don't have to go over.
Nice.
I do love poutine, however.
Yes. Oh, and for those of you who don't know,
Delicious.
poutine is typically French fries with gravy and cheese curds, and it is really good. I highly recommend you try it if you ever get a chance.
The original, the real poutine has
Yeah.
cheese curds.
Yes, the word is weird, but the food is good.
Yeah, poutine, it's French. It's probably not that weird to the French. It just sounds weird.
It sounds weird to us. Oh, have you tried beaver tails?
It has cinnamon on it, so no. I'm definitely allergic.
Oh, really? You're allergic to cinnamon?
If you ever wanted to assassinate me, it wouldn't take a bullet. It would take a cinnamon bun.
Oh shit. So for those of you who don't know, a beaver tail, it's not a tail from a beaver. It is
Tail. Peter,
it's-
calm down. Yeah.
it's a pastry. It's a sweet dough that they deep fry, and they put like
It's just fried dough. That's
fried dough with Nutella and M&Ms and marshmallows and stuff.
and cinnamon in most cases, so I couldn't touch it.
Really? I've never seen one with cinnamon though.
Oh, I've seen them with cinnamon. I couldn't go near it.
Oh. So you wouldn't be
That's
able to have
probably
you wouldn't be able to have a churro.
No, I've never had a churro. That would be El Dedo.
Yeah.
If
No
I had-
churros for you. So when you come
No.
down to Florida and you go to Universal Studio, you're not allowed to have any of those.
And all the cinnamon.
Nothing from the casing that has the churros in it.
No, I need a totally separate case.
Yeah, but they're expensive anyway and not that great. You don't want one.
That's fine. So what have you learned this week so far in your journey? As we and everybody who listens journey through the indies, you're also journeying through getting smartened up to the inside of us.
So
What new stuff did you learn this week just from us yapping?
So what I learned was the logistics of the Rumble and how they work and how they're managed and worked through.
Storyline driven
Hmm.
and things like
And
that. Or I had a chance to get a heel over and give him some rub, so I took it.
and the crowd drives more of the match than the script.
That's for me, or anybody who started wrestling then, or if there's guys now who call matches in the ring. I don't know. But yeah, I would. I really wouldn't like to script a lot, but when everybody's scripting, I had to at least meet him in the middle with an outline of some sort.
Right.
But yeah, no, the crowd, me hearing the crowd and knowing what they want would change it. Which the guys I've wrestled, there's a guy locally here who's really never done much other than wrestled in a local promotion,
Mm.
a good one, but he's never really left it or traveled the world or wrestled more than a couple times a month. But I had the best matches with him
Who was it?
because we would have an idea how we wanted to start it, turn it around, finish it, but he was so calm at all times. We get a reaction and we just concur right there in the middle of the ring. I'd be like, I think they could handle another one. How about you? And he'd real calmly roll over and be like, let's do it. So we'd do the same thing again and get an even bigger reaction.
Nice.
And then we're laughing because it keeps working. And then you hear him whisper in my ear, fuck it, let's do it again. I'm like, let's go. Boom. And we did it again for the third time. Same thing. Crowd reaction got bigger. But that goes to show, too, you don't need to wrestle for 20, 30 years, 800 matches a month, over a million years. You don't have to do that in order to have that ability to hear the crowd and understand it.
Right.
You know, he did not have that many matches. He was a great pro wrestler. He just was not a well traveled. That wasn't his thing. He had his own job, and he was just doing it. You know, I don't think he even was trying to get a career in pro wrestling. He just loved doing it, and I loved doing it with him. The
Now,
matches were so easy. He was probably better than a lot of veterans I've been in the ring with. Like, you know how I told you, like a veteran, we just know what to do,
yeah.
and we hear and we listen and we just do it. You're a good guy, I'm a bad guy. You can't do that now. We don't even have to talk about it. We just know it.
Oh, nice.
He was similar to that, or he just listened so well and he understood the crowd. And I'm telling you, that proved to me that you don't have to be this. It helps. Don't get me wrong. It definitely helps. But there are rare instances where somebody's not the most well-traveled career
Hmm.
professional wrestler, but could put on a match like I've never seen.
So,
My favorite matches were with him.
so digging back into some of my memories of some of the wrestling events that I've attended back in Buffalo, I recall a guy in the crowd who was of. Let me know if you remember this guy. He was of darker complexion, and he was a very, very, very large gentleman. He couldn't. I think he was too big to sit in the seat. But the distinct thing about him that I remember, and which is why I know it was the same guy every time, he had a hooded sweatshirt that said "Mr. Big Stuff" on the back.
Oh, Mr. Yeah. Actually, that could take up another whole episode.
We'll save it
Um,
for next week.
I will tell you, let's do that next week. Um, it, at the time, I was young and I was trained professionally. He was not, but he bought himself gear. And to me, that was an insult to the business back
Right.
then. I took that as an insult. So he'd always come around like, yeah, man, I'm a wrestler too. I'm like, no, you're a big fat fuck who bought boots. You're not a fucking wrestler. But years later, I got to know people who knew him, and I even got to know him a little bit. He had since passed away.
Oh, that's too
Um,
bad.
but a lot of the grief I was giving him wasn't his fault.
Mm,
He was led to believe by people within the business that as long as you're big and fat or some sort of character, you
right.
don't need proper training or to know the inside of wrestling or the secret handshake or
Mm,
the words. You could just go around telling people you're a wrestler.
right.
It wasn't his fault. He didn't just buy a cape one day and start lying that he was a pro wrestler. That's the way I took it, though.
Do you have a cape?
I wish I had a cape. That would be phenomenal. Love a cape. But I've gotten a lot of arguments with him in public, telling him that he was a mark
Ah,
and that he had no idea what he was doing and just to stay the fuck out. And I was wrong in that situation. I was young and I was trained by guys who wrestling was a religion to these guys.
yeah.
Wahoo McDaniel, Manny Fernandez, Sweet Hansen,
Right.
you know, those guys that wrestling was done a certain way religiously. So when he was doing it a different way or trying to come in without any proper training,
Right.
I automatically shut the door in his face like, no, you're not one of us.
Yeah,
Little did I
little
know.
bit of gatekeeping, right?
Oh, I was
Yeah.
just doing what I was taught by these legends,
Yeah, exactly.
But I learned later that he was convinced by other smaller time promoters
Yeah,
that that was okay.
outside influence.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
it wasn't his fault the whole time. And I did, and we'll tell more stories next week. But
yeah,
before we do, I don't want you to think I left here just having arguments with the guy. We did have a real conversation long before he passed. I lost contact with him and then found out that he passed years later.
yeah,
But of all that type of gatekeeping I did with him, we did have one conversation that was good. So, but then we could tell the story of Mr. Big Stuff.
yeah, yeah. So next week, a tribute to Mr. Big Stuff.
Do you want me to get? He had a really good friend who I ended up helping get into actual wrestling. He never did a lot in wrestling, and
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, he wasn't like top tier wrestler, but
Right.
he worked real hard, and he's an excellent guy, and he was good friends with Mr. Big Stuff.
Yeah, if you can get any pictures or videos, we'll play them.
I'll reach out to these people
Yeah,
during the week. We'll
perfect.
tell the Buffalo story of Mr. Big Stuff and the fight we had outside of ECW Arena.
The legend of the Buffalo, Mr. Big Stuff. I love it.
All right. Yeah, sure.
All
We'll get
right.
it going. Get some stuff for that.
Excellent. All right. Great show, Jason. It was a great show. And yeah, have a great week. We'll see all you guys in a week.
Sounds good. Like, subscribe, follow. Go to all of our other pages and like those and follow those. Subscribe, leave comments,
Yep.
talk to us, and we'll see
All
you
of
next
that.
week.
See you next week.
Bye bye.